Hi guys, this is RositaApplebum and I'm here with a video on my favorite brushes. So I originally planned to do like my top 5 favorite brushes or my top 10. I actually have 13 brushes and excuse my foundation if it looks a little crazy. It is 11:17. I put on my foundation, I want to say at 12. So it's been quite some time and I had to reapply my bronzer like 100 billion times because it just wasn't showing on the camera, so I'm sorry about that. And let me just let you guys know what's on my lips. On my lips, I have the L'Oreal LaLaque, which I believe is limited edition. It's the color Riche lip pencil in the color Laquer-ized. I absolutely love this color. And my top is from Zara. It just says Nouveau Punk. Also, I'm going to be showing you guys how I clean my brushes at the end of this video. So stay tuned for that part, how I spot clean them and also how I deep clean my brushes. I'm not going to show you how I clean every single brush because it's pretty much the same for all of them, but excuse my brushes, they are dirty right now. I purposely left them dirty so that I can film this video today. So I'm going to get started with my face brushes. Now, you guys know that for foundation, I normally use my beauty blender, which you can find at Sephora. I always use my beauty blender damp. I just run it under the water, the faucet, and then just kind of squeeze out any excess and then just apply my foundation and my concealer with the beauty blender. But if I had to choose a favorite foundation brush, I used to use this brush and I still kind of like it. I used it yesterday. This brush definitely helps any foundation look a lot more full coverage. This is the Sigma F80 and I was not sent this brush. I purchased this with my own money. I've had it for quite some time. Doesn't shed. It's a great flat top kabuki brush and I just kind of pat it and then kind of swirl the foundation in. I can also use this brush for powder foundation. If you don't really like the beauty blender, I would definitely recommend this brush. You can buy the individual brush on Sigma's website. You could also get the kit that comes with this brush inside of it. I definitely want to try more Sigma brushes. This is the only one that I own for now. So yep, F80. I also apply my concealer with the beauty blender, but to set my concealer, I always use this brush. This is by Real Techniques by Samantha Chapman. You can find this at Target or Ulta and I think TJ Maxx or even Marshalls. I get these brushes from Ulta and this is like one of my favorite brands for brushes. It's affordable and it's amazing. But this is the setting brush and I use this just under my eye for my powder concealer. I use the Bare Minerals Well Rested concealer. Also use this for my Banana Benite powder or my Anastasia Beverly Hills contour palette. You can use this to contour, you can use this to highlight. This is just an amazing brush. Again, it's a setting brush and I adore it. I purchased this one separate, but it might come in a kit, but don't quote me, I'm not sure, but I definitely purchased this one separate as a standalone brush at Ulta. I'm going to leave the links down below to all of these brushes in case you want to find these, but these are all affordable brushes. As far as setting my foundation or applying powder foundation, I love these two brushes. I love this one, which the name rubbed off. Is also by Real Techniques by Samantha Chapman. I found this at Ulta. I thought this was the powder brush. I could have sworn it was called like foundation brush or powder brush, but the name rubbed off, so I'm going to find it and link it down below. But it's the pink handle and it's kind of like a medium-sized brush. I like this for applying my powder foundation, whether it's the Makeup Forever or just any powder foundation. This one is very like dense and small, so it's really good to just like apply your foundation. Since this brush is so dense, it's great for powder foundation because it gives you maximum coverage. So I really like this one for my Makeup Forever Duo Matte Powder. And to set my foundation, whether I'm using the NARS pressed powder or a loose powder, I love this one. This is the powder brush. This is a new find for me, but I'm obsessed with how big and fluffy it is and it just leaves you like an airbrush feel. So obviously I love this line for brushes. I honestly think they're just so amazing and they're so, I don't know, like the quality is just amazing. The colors of the handles are so pretty. I've never had any problem with like excessive shedding. I've washed my brushes so many times and I just really love this line. So those are for my powder foundations or powders. As far as blush goes, you guys know I love my Walmart brush. Now I do have another one of these. This is my broken one. I use this one for my bronzer and this one for my blush, but this is the same exact brush. I find these at Walmart. I will link it down below. I'm not sure the brand, but it's like the only brand other than Equal Tools that they sell at Walmart. So this is just the angled one, and I again have two of them because I absolutely love this brush. This one I use for my blush, and it's just like an angle, so it just perfectly fits on my cheek. and I really love this for applying blush and the same one for applying my bronzer. You know what brush you guys use for bronzer. Last two face brushes are my contour brush and my highlight brush. So for contouring, I use this brush. This is by Sephora. It's the Pro Contour Brush number 74. It's a tapered brush, and I just one day splurged on it. It wasn't too expensive. I believe it was like $35, which is pretty pricey, but compared to the higher end brushes, this isn't too bad. I think it was $34. I'll link it down below. They still sell this at Sephora, but I love this one. I have tried the MAC one. MAC has a very similar one, but that one sheds too much for me, so I definitely prefer this one. I use this brush mainly with MAC Blunt to contour my cheeks, and I also use it like kind of to contour the temples of my face. But I like this with darker colors because it leaves such precision, and I just then go and blend it out with the Walmart brush. As far as a highlight brush, I love this one. This is the e.l.f. blush brush. This one is so small, so I don't know how you would use this for blush. I guess if you have small cheeks, but I use this for my highlight. It fits perfectly right under my eye, and I love this brush. It's only $3. You can find it at Target. Again, it's the e.l.f. blush brush, and I use it for my highlight. As far as shadow brushes, the main ones that I use are these three. The first two are by MAC. So the first one is the 224 and the second one is my 217. If you guys watch my tutorials, these are like the only brushes I really use for blending out my shadow, other than the Urban Decay ones that come with the Naked palettes. But I adore these brushes. I cannot do my eye makeup without these, so I definitely recommend these two. If you're starting off or if you don't have these, definitely go purchase these. The first one I'm going to talk about is 217, and mine is really dirty, but it's a smaller, also tapered brush. If I really want a dark and deep crease, I will use this first to just deepen out the crease, and this is really great for like a V, and it fits perfectly in my eye shape. Now, with eye brushes, everyone's eye shape is different. Everyone's eye space is different. This is what works for me. I like this to, again, deepen out my crease if I'm doing a smoky eye, or just to apply my browns in the crease. And then if it's too harsh, or if I want a more blended out look, I will use the 224. This is also a tapered brush, but it's a lot fluffier and it's not as dense. So this one really blends everything out beautifully, and it's just like my holy grail brush. If I had to choose between the two, I would definitely choose the 224 because I feel like you can really blend out any eyeshadow with this, whether it's a $1 eyeshadow or it's a $15 eyeshadow. These two brushes are amazing, but this one definitely is my favorite. 224 by MAC and 217 also by MAC, so you definitely need these in your collection. The next brush is the e.l.f. Contour Brush, and I also use this one a lot in my videos. And I like this one for applying the shadow underneath my eyes and really smoking out any look. I do use this sometimes to apply my crease color, but I find that it's too dense, so it can definitely be too harsh for most eye looks. For $3, you can use this to contour your nose or contour your cheeks if you want like a really precise contour, but I use this one primarily under my eye because it really smokes out any shadow and it just blends everything out. You guys know I don't like to be too top heavy on my eye. The way my face is set up, basically, I love to apply shadow underneath my eyes, so I love this one, and it's also $3. I love the e.l.f. line from Target, the black one. This is the professional line at Target, or you can find this at the e.l.f. store in New York City and Soho, but it's the black handled ones. I don't really like the white handled ones, but these are only $3, so if you're starting off, you can definitely buy a couple of these and just test it out, see what works for you. I actually have two of these in my kit. One I use for my eyes and the other is for like my face or contouring my nose, so love that one. And the other eyeshadow brush I'm going to mention is the Domed Shadow Brush by Real Techniques, also by Samantha Chapman. Definitely get the kits that Ulta sells, or Target sells them too, but you should get the kits that come with the brushes because I love every single Real Techniques brush. I love them all. I am not sponsored by Real Techniques, but I love them. So this is the Domed Shadow Brush. It's basically just a domed shadow brush, and I use this for blending out my shadows, but I also find this brush really great for blending out concealer, whether it's under my eye or around my eyebrows. This is a great blending brush. It's just really small and it just really gets to the point. I like the shape of it. This blends out shadow really well, but it also blends out your concealers really well. So this one is amazing. You should definitely pick up two of these so that you can have one for your face and one for your eyes. So I love this. And my last two favorite brushes are for my eyebrows. The first one is the 208 by MAC. It's just a slanted brush, and it's very small, very thin, very precise. And the other one is also very thin. This is the 212 brush. This one is just a flat brush and it's very thin. So these two are very small brushes. If you guys watch my videos, you know I use MAC Lingering for my eyebrows, but on occasion I will use my Wet n Wild eyebrow kit, or now I'm trying to use the Anastasia Dip Brow in dark brown. So today I used this brush to kind of just carve out the ends of my eyebrows to make them a little bit darker, to create kind of a gradient effect. This brush I primarily use for my eyebrows, but you can use it for gel liner, but just keep in mind that it's very small and thin. So this would be really good if you like a very detailed wing, or if you like it very precise, not if you like a very thick one. I normally don't use gel liners, and if I do, I'll use a thicker brush, but this one can also be used for gel liner. Since it is slanted, it might be easier for you to make your wing, but I use this for my powdered shadows or gel liners for my eyebrows. The MAC 212 brush you can also use for gel liners. It's just a flat brush, so it's just kind of square, but I use this one with my MAC concealer in NC20 to carve out or shape out my eyebrows, to really highlight that area. I find that this brush is so great because it really gets close to the eyebrow line, so it really creates a crisp line and it doesn't look messy. After I shape my brows with concealer, I will always blend it out with this brush, the Dome Shadow Brush, which I mentioned. Those are my favorite brushes. I obviously have more brushes in my collection, but those are my top ones I feel like you guys should try out if you haven't already, or if you're looking for new brushes. But to me, I think brushes are really super duper important, and I don't think the price matters every time. As you can tell, I have a lot of drugstore brushes. I consider Ulta a drugstore, so Real Techniques, those brushes are really affordable. Sigma's also affordable, but you do have to order it online. I only mentioned 4 MAC brushes and 1 Sephora brush, so it's kind of a good mixture between drugstore and high-end, but I absolutely love all of these brushes. I think you guys should definitely try them out. I'm still building my brush collection. Definitely invest in some blending brushes, but as far as your face, I think the Real Techniques ones do an amazing job, and the e.l.f. ones, and just see what works for you. Everyone's face is different, and what might work for me might not work for you, and vice versa. So hopefully you guys enjoyed my top favorite brushes, and I'm going to be showing you guys right now how I clean my brushes. So when I'm doing an eyeshadow look and I'm using different colors, but I'm only using 2 brushes or 3 brushes, I will spot clean my brushes. Spot cleaning your brushes basically means you're using a formula. I use a Sephora formula, and I just spray my brush and just spot clean them. So exactly what it sounds like. Just clean the brushes for the moment. It's an antibacterial formula that basically is going to clean your brush, but it's not going to deep clean it. It's just going to wipe off the shadow that you have at the tip of the brush, so that you can go in and dip it into another color and not get all messy and crazy. So it does take a couple seconds or minutes to dry. It's not instant, but it definitely doesn't take hours like deep cleaning your brush does. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and stay tuned if you want to see how I wash my brushes. So you guys are now in my bathroom, and I'm about to show you guys how I wash my brushes and how I clean them. I'm using the brush and I need it clean right away. I will spot clean my brush. I use the Sephora Daily Makeup Brush Cleaner. Just swirl the brush onto the towel, and you will notice that a lot of the shadow is going to be concentrated on the towel. So I'm not too gentle with it. I just want to get it clean. So I will just swirl it round and round. So if I'm spot cleaning my brush, I will then wait for this to dry. It takes about 5 minutes, and then I'll use it again. And I deep clean my brushes once every week or once every 2 weeks if I don't have enough time. But I will spot clean it and then also deep clean it. I have all of my brushes waiting to be cleaned. I'm going to show you guys how I deep clean my brushes. So to clean my brushes, I use Johnson's baby shampoo, and I know some people use like dishwashing soap with conditioner, but I like the Johnson's baby shampoo. And what I do is I will put a little bit onto my palm. I take my brush, I wet the tip just a little bit. You don't want to get water into the brush handle because that will loosen the glue up and your brushes will come apart. Once the brush is wet, I will just basically swirl the brush onto the baby shampoo and just really get it in there, and then rinse. Swirl the brush until the water runs clear. So make sure not to get too much water here. If you get a little bit, that's okay, but you don't want to just soak the brush in because that's going to ruin your brushes. Wring the brushes out and shape it a little bit. And there's a lot of talk about how you should have your brushes while they're drying. I lay mine flat, but I will lay them kind of like at an angle once I'm set with all my brushes. I will lay them kind of at an angle so that the water will run down, as opposed to them sitting upright in a container, because then the water is still going to get into the brush handle and that's going to ruin your brushes. So try to lay them kind of at an angle, kind of like a slant. They do sell containers that you can place your brushes in to really just dry the brush so that they sit this way, but any which way is fine. If you can just lay them flat, that's okay too. Just make sure you're never holding them upright while they're drying. Let me know in the comments if you found this video helpful and if you like this kind of videos. So I will see you in the next one. Bye guys. I always use my beauty blender. This you can, and you as whew, alrighty. Let's get it going, girl. It's open to trying new let me know what you guys use for your Let's get it. It's kind of ironic because it's so small, so ooh, particles. This, and it just blends things out beautifully, whether it's shadow or it's an interesting brush. Now after I carve out my eyebrows, I like how I say carve out. I feel like I'm carving out pumpkins, but I only have how many MAC brushes?